Hello and welcome to the Absolute Gamecast. The Five Nights at Freddy's franchise has been around for a long time, and as many of you likely know, has gone on to inspire countless fan games over its 9-year lifespan. Classic FNAF had a very simple gameplay loop back in the day that lent itself well to developers of various skill levels being able to easily build and share their own twists on the formula. And while it's great that so many games have been made over the years, one negative byproduct is that many fan games are buried under all the others through no fault of their own. Many of these games are either overlooked on release or have their time in the sun cut short before fading into obscurity. One of these games is the topic of today's discussion, Five Nights at Pokémon, which was released back in 2015 by developer Hacks Mew and was unfortunately taken down by Nintendo during a Game Jolt purge. But with all that being said, let's dive a little deeper into this game. The story of this game is your standard FNAF fare. You play as a night guard who has to survive 5 nights in a pizzeria filled with bloodthirsty animatronics. There are also death minigames like FNAF 2, which give some background lore. The difference in the story comes in the fact that, as the name suggests, the characters are all Pokemon themed. One of the first pros I have for this game is the characters are not just Pokemon or FNAF characters reskinned to be the other. The artist actually put in the effort and thought to make them feel like natural designed animatronics inspired by the Pokemon instead of making them just Pokemon with limb joints and accessories. The game's graphics also ditch the realistic look of its FNAF inspiration and instead focus on a 2D freehand art style, which is very appropriate with Pokémon obviously being a cartoon franchise, but might turn some players off due to similarities with other fan games of the time. However, this art style is very clean and well drawn, with shading and some textures that pop against the backgrounds and set the game apart from the rest of its genre, and it's pretty fluidly animated in the jump scares. One of the best examples of the detail of the character design is Porymangle. It could have easily just been Porygon Z with no changes, but instead we get a cool combination of Porygon Z and Mangle in a way that feels like a semi-natural robot someone could have built before it was obviously torn apart just like Mangle. The next thing I wanted to point out is, I'm unsure if it's done on purpose, but in FNAF 2, if you didn't know, Toy Bonnie had a bizarre design quirk where the closer he got to your location, the more his pupils would start to dilate, and in this game, Toy Lopunny, who acts as his replacement, seemingly has that quirk too, which is great attention to detail that I appreciated seeing on my first playthrough. Another small thing I'd also like to point out is there's an Easter egg of sorts where if you turn off the fan on your desk, this happens. I find this really funny because when I watched videos on the game years ago, nobody saw it coming, so you would always get a usually funny, genuine reaction out of anyone who fell for it. The last design aspect I'd like to compliment is the map and office itself, which, while very similar to the FNAF 2 office with the vents replaced with FNAF 1 doors, it looks great in a horror aspect because the walls are covered in marks and stains on the metal that make the place look old, gross, and abandoned, despite it seemingly being in business during your shift. So it makes you question what could have happened to put this place in such a horrible state. It's also very dark, which makes many of the rooms look eerie, while also making it hard to see the threats coming for you without the flashlight. Next, let's move on and discuss the gameplay. The gameplay loop of this game is very interesting in the fact that it blends mechanics from the first 2 FNAF games, such as the doors, power system, and Pirate's Cove from the first game, and the front hall mask and music box from the second. This surprised me going in because I only vaguely recalled it being primarily similar to FNAF 2, so seeing the doors and power system kinda caught me off guard. The mechanics are, however, distributed among the characters in a seamless way. If you have played either the first or second FNAF game, you would most likely be able to fill in the blanks of how the animatronics work. For the sake of time, I won't be going into all the mechanics since, like FNAF 2, there's 10 animatronics, but I'll leave a graphic here if you're interested. The gameplay is pretty good in my opinion. people who are skilled at FNAF games will probably have an easier time getting into the game. However, for people like me who aren't as skilled, it can feel a little chaotic to manage the power, the music box, reacting with the mask, Zoroark's location sometimes, but I don't hold it against the game because with practice I feel like there is a pattern you could learn. In conclusion, I really enjoyed my time with this game as far as I was able to get, and I want to practice to see if I can get farther. If you hadn't played this game before, the original was unfortunately taken down, but there are re-uploads on GameJolt if you want to experience the game for yourself. That's about all I have to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Not gonna force you, do what you want. Thanks for tuning in, and that's a video. Bye!